When I first stepped off the plane in Singapore, I honestly felt like I had landed on another planet. Seriously, I wasn't just in another country. I was in a whole new world. Back in Ghana, I was used to the sights, sounds, and smells of our bustling markets. Vendors shouting to attract customers. The aroma of freshly fried plantains mixing with the faint scent of petrol from passing trotros. It is chaotic, yes, but it's our chaos. It is familiar, it has life, it has soul. But here in Singapore, everything was different. Too different. The air felt cleaner. The streets, spotless. Not a plastic bag or stray bottle cap in sight. And the silence, it wasn't the strange kind. It was the orderly kind. People walked quickly, but without the rush of panic. Cars didn't honk for no reason. And when I looked up, I saw skyscrapers towering above me, gleaming in the sunlight like they were polished every morning. I couldn't believe it. No potholes, no power cuts, no tangled mess of wires dangling from telephone poles. It felt unreal, like someone had taken a scene out of a futuristic movie and plopped me right in the middle of it. And as I stood there trying to absorb it all, I kept asking myself, how did they do it? How did a tiny nation with no natural resources, once under colonial rule just like us, rise to become this global powerhouse? It wasn't jealousy I felt, it was curiosity, mixed with total surprise and a tinge of frustration. Because deep down, I knew Africa also had the potential to achieve this. We have the people, the resources, the creativity. So why does it feel like we are stuck in the same place, while Singapore is miles ahead? I didn't have all the answers then, and I still don't. But that question stayed with me throughout my trip. And even now, it drives me to dig deeper, to understand better. Because this isn't just about Singapore or Ghana. It is about what we can learn, about the choices that shape nations, and about the hope that it's never too late to change our story. And that is exactly why I'm sharing this with you today. Let us figure this out together. In Ghana, we also know what it feels like to be colonized. The British ruled over us, just as they did here in Singapore. So why does Singapore look like this? Clean streets, a world-class economy, one of the safest places on earth. While many African countries are still struggling with basic needs like clean water and steady electricity. Let us start with the obvious. History. Both Africa and Singapore suffered under colonialism. For us in Ghana, the British focused on extracting resources, gold, cocoa, timber, leaving behind little to build on when they finally left. Singapore, they didn't have much to extract. No gold, no oil, just a small island with a great location. When Singapore gained independence, it wasn't this shiny city-state you see today. They were dirt poor, no resources, no army, no guarantees of success. So how did they do it? Visionary leadership. Lee Kuan Yew and his government didn't just focus on surviving, they focused on thriving. They invested in the people. Education became a top priority. Singapore didn't just educate its citizens, it aligned education with the needs of its economy. Technical schools, vocational training, whatever it took to build a skilled workforce that could attract big businesses. In Africa, we've got millions of bright young minds, but too often, our education systems don't prepare them for the realities of today's job market. Imagine if we could tap into the potential the way Singapore did. And then there is infrastructure. Singapore built world-class systems, roads, ports, public transport, making it one of the most business-friendly countries in the world. Now compare that to what we deal with in Ghana. A broken-down trotro, potholes so big they could swallow a car, and power outages that shut down businesses for hours. How do we compete when the basics aren't there? Another big difference: corruption or lack of it. Singapore went hard on corruption. Every dollar is accounted for. Every project gets done. In Africa, corruption bleeds us dry, from inflated contracts to stolen public funds. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why, despite Africa being the wealthiest continent on earth in terms of natural resources, happens to have the poorest people on earth living in it. Now the question that I ask myself is, what are our leaders using these natural resources for? And more importantly, why is it that ordinary Africans like myself are unable to hold our leaders accountable for these gross mismanagement of our natural resources? That is the question that I always ask myself, and that is the question that I'm posing to you, the viewers. And hopefully, in the end of the day, we'll be able to come up with an answer to that. Until then, all we can do is just, hope for the best. But let's be real, Singapore isn't perfect. They are small and they've got some unique advantages, like their strategic location. Africa is massive, with 54 countries, thousands of cultures, and endless challenges. But that is no excuse. Here is the thing: Africa has potential. Our resources, our people, our creativity, it's all there. What we need is better leadership, smarter investments in education and infrastructure, and systems that reward hard work, not corruption. We can learn from Singapore, not by copying them, but by taking what works: good governance, planning for the future, and investing in our people and making it our own. Singapore's story isn't just theirs. It is a reminder of what's possible when a nation comes together with a clear vision. Africa's challenges are real, but so is our potential. The question is, are we ready to rewrite our story as Africans? So if you found this story as inspiring as I did, let's keep the conversation going. Hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Together, we can explore what it takes to build a brighter future. See you in the next video.